Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Mansing. In our top story, if you were anywhere downtown on St. Thomas yesterday, you may have been swept in the frenzy caused by a large yacht that caught fire while docked at Yacht Haven Grand. Emergency responders were on the scene and traffic blocked off. The fire died down in the evening, and now authorities are dealing with the aftermath. News 2's April Knight has an update.
Sandy, what you're seeing here behind me is what remains of a luxury yacht that went up in flames Tuesday afternoon. It was completely destroyed by the evening. It's a little calmer now, but this was the scene yesterday. A giant plume of smoke could be seen all the way from St. John as a fire devoured the 84-foot yacht Positive Energy. The yacht, estimated to be worth $2.3 million, caught fire at around 1 in the afternoon, and responders, including the Yacht Haven Grand team, acted right away.
The marina staff as well as everyone that's on the upland side. From there, authorities were contacted, WICO, fire department, police department, emergency first responders all came on the scene, as well as some cruise ships helped out as well. Brought it over to a secure location, which is over here, where nothing could occur to anyone. The fire department was able to deal with the situation and contain it. We did move boats off. It was for their safety. There was a lot of smoke that was going on.
But even with the help of fire personnel from the cruise ships, the fire could not be contained.
Firefighters for the vessel for close to 6 hours. The fire was getting out of control by the vessel, so we decided to pull the vessel closer to the other end.
It finally burned itself out around 6 that evening. The area was cordoned off to prevent oil from spreading, and on Wednesday, cleanup operations began.
Well, the cleanup operation, which is right behind me, it's actually happening now. We have a large boom that's around the area, and that really contains anything that's coming off of the boat. From that next step, we'll start to bring that boom in a little bit and be able to contain all of the information, all of the stuff that's there, clean it up, and then hopefully get the vessel out soon.
DPNR will eventually have to get involved in the cleanup. On Tuesday, the U.S. Coast Guard came in to document the aftermath. They say any salvage operations will have to be initiated by the owner of the destroyed vessel, but they'll be on hand to assist. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
No injuries have been reported during the entire ordeal. Yacht Haven has declined to release any information on the yacht, they say as a matter of policy to protect the privacy of their clients. Attorney General Claude Walker went before the Virgin Islands Superior Court today in the matter of the Justice Department's action against Sugar Bay Resort for what the department alleges are illegal employment practices. According to the department, Sugar Bay seemed to have structured as many as 47 layoffs so that it doesn't trigger the territory's Plant Closing Act provisions. Some employees were also denied their severance packages, according to the AG. The Department of Labor has stated that they've written to the hotel to make sure the employees get their severance, and while the Justice Department didn't address whether Sugar Bay has been given an ultimatum to comply with this, they want it addressed immediately. We will have more on the court proceedings in a later newscast. Well, as we reported in the latest Zika surveillance report, the Virgin Islands Department of Health confirmed 4 additional cases of Zika on St. Croix, bringing the total to 11 cases. No new cases of dengue were reported this week. The total remains 7 confirmed dengue cases. The Department of Health also continues to test pregnant women without symptoms of Zika. As of this week, 358 samples have been received from pregnant women. Of those, 225 results are pending. 2 were symptomatic, and those were both confirmed as dengue, stated the Deputy Commissioner Kimberly Jones. Well, as we reported yesterday, it's Tsunami Preparedness Week, and the Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency, or VITEMA, is participating in Carib Wave, disaster preparedness exercise that will involve agencies and businesses around the territory. Schools on all 3 islands will be participating in evacuation drills, and VITEMA's director, Mona Barnes, advises everyone, including motorists, to exercise caution.
What you will see is once they get the notice, all of the children and staff will be evacuating from the school to what is considered their safe zone. So, for example, the Juanita Garden Elementary School will have to cross over 2 lanes of traffic, and they will be going up to the AZ Academy Elementary School as well as their safe zone. And so we ask those motorists to be pleased to be very careful when you see the evacuations being done. Same thing in St. Thomas. They will have to cross traffic. It's a little different in St. John.
In other news, many government officials from both executive and legislative branches are out of the territory this week. As we reported, they're in Florida attending the annual Sea Trade event to keep up with the ever-changing cruise and tourism industry. Governor Kenneth Mapp and Commissioner Beverly Nicholson Doty have been making the rounds to promote the VI. NEWS2 April Knight has more.
VI government leaders are in Miami this week for the annual Sea Trade Conference. Sea Trade Cruise Global is an annual gathering of cruise professionals who are at the forefront of the industry. VI lawmakers and agency heads got briefed on the state of the industry, as well as new developments, including the normalization of U.S.-Cuba relations, which many hope would improve the Caribbean region in general. It's also a chance for destinations to showcase themselves. The Virgin Islands was not to be left behind in the display of VI culture. In an interview with the Miami Herald, Governor Mapp spoke of efforts to drive tourism to the territory, especially to St. Croix.
We're really excited with our partners in the cruise industry and what we see happening in our partnerships with the airlines. And my biggest task among all of the various big tasks I have is how do we drive more branded hotel properties in the territory, both on St. Croix and St. Thomas, and continue to stay at the forefront in this industry and become the leader as a destination in the Caribbean.
Senator Kenneth Gittens, however, expressed concern that their current efforts in Miami are being undermined by recent incidents of crime in the territory.
We're seeing an increase in very bold acts of violence, and most are connected to retaliatory circumstances. It is unfortunate, however, that just as we're here at Sea Trade trying to develop a more appealing tourism product and learning of ways to, stand out from other destinations as a must-see market, there's a small amount of people still destroying the very fiber of our community.
Throughout the week, Governor Mapp and Tourism Commissioner Beverly Nicholson Doty will be meeting with cruise executives as well as media outlets in their effort to promote the Virgin Islands. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, the governor was also featured in a Miami Herald article on how First Lady Michelle Obama's push for healthier school meals influenced the VI's Farm to Table initiative. In other news, Commissioner Don Henry of DPNR announces that the Division of Fish and Wildlife has deployed the first 2 fish aggregating devices, or FADs, around St. Croix. DFW plans to install 6 FADs in the St. Croix district and 6 FADs in the St. Thomas St. John district in total. The FADs are located 4 miles southeast of Long Point and 3 miles south of Sandy Point, St. Croix. Both FAD buoys are submerged about 50 feet below the water surface. Deployment of the FADs will benefit the territory, they say, by shifting fishing pressure from heavily fished inshore areas to offshore areas with more abundant populations of pelagic sport fish species such as tuna, dolphin, and wahoo. Turning attention overseas, President Obama announced he's nominating Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court. The move sets up a dramatic political fight with Senate Republicans. They've vowed to block any replacement for the late Justice Antonin Scalia until there's a new president in office. Garland, who is a 63-year-old, is the chief judge for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. An appointee of President Bill Clinton, Garland is a Harvard Law School graduate. As a Justice Department lawyer, he supervised the investigations in the Unabomber case and the Oklahoma City bombing. He's been on short lists for the Supreme Court before. President Obama formally unveiled his pick in the White House Rose Garden this morning. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and John Kasich scored significant Super Tuesday victories. A major loss prompted Marco Rubio to suspend his campaign. Here are the winners so far. On the Republican side, Trump took Florida, North Carolina, and Illinois. Kasich won his home state of Ohio. For Democrats, Clinton won Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, and Illinois. Mary Maloney has reactions from the candidates.
While it is not God's plan that I be president in 2016 or maybe ever, and while today my campaign is suspended, The fact that I've even come this far is evidence of how special America truly is.
The Florida senator ending his bid for president after a crushing loss in the Sunshine State to Donald Trump. Marco Rubio is the first sitting senator to lose a primary in his home state since 1960. Confetti flies in Ohio as the Buckeye State's Governor John Kasich wins.
I have to thank the people of the great state of Ohio. I love you, is all I can tell you. I love you.
Trump celebrating, winning the majority of the Super Tuesday states.
We're going to make our country rich again. We're going to make our country great again. And we need the rich in order to make the great, I'm sorry to tell you.
Hillary Clinton's focus on Florida paid off with a win. She also won North Carolina, Ohio, and Illinois.
This is another Super Tuesday for our campaign.
Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz also picking up delegates and keeping their respective campaigns viable.
We are doing something very radical in American politics. We're telling the truth.
We continue to gain delegates and continue our march to 1,237.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. The numbers there indicate everything up. The Dow 74, NASDAQ 35, S&P 500 up at 11. Coming up on News 2, we have much more straight ahead, but it's time for our VI History Quiz. Who was the third elected governor in the history of the U.S. Virgin Islands? Think you know the answer? It's coming up next. And just a reminder, there will be a change in programming the rest of this week due to the 2016 NCAA Basketball Championships that will be aired here on CBS TV2. Therefore, on Thursday and Friday, March 17th and 18th, News 2 will not be aired at its regularly scheduled times. Also, Thursday and Friday, March 24th and 25th, next week, we will be back on air Monday, March 28th with our regular scheduled programming. The American Red Cross of the Virgin Islands gladly announced that their Fill the Boot campaign surpassed $10,000 in donations received by the general public last Saturday, March 12th in St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. The donations raised are destined to help families affected by disasters and emergencies. Organizers are thankful to all the 160 American Red Cross volunteers and collaborators, they say, that helped make the event a success on all three islands. The Red Cross St. Croix office will install smoke alarms in Montbijou coming up Saturday, March 19th. For this event, the Red Cross calls on all of the volunteers to join and support the Home Fire Campaign installation. Time for our VI history recognition. Governor Juan F. Louis, the third elected governor in the history of the U.S. Virgin Islands, died in 2011 at the St. Croix hospital that bears his name. He was 70 years old. Louis was born in Vieques, Puerto Rico in 1940 and moved to St. Croix at the age of 2 months. His efforts during his governorship to improve health care by creating modern hospitals in both St. Thomas and St. Croix drew praise from many. Louis was the 23rd governor of the U.S. Virgin Islands and the third elected governor. He succeeded to the office as lieutenant governor in 1978 upon the death of Cyril E. King. He was responsible for establishment of modern healthcare systems, initial expansion and financing of the airports on St. Thomas and St. Croix, construction of a new container port on St. Croix, acquisition of land on St. Croix for home ownership and agriculture, and numerous capital construction projects. The second annual Sound of Love benefit concert featuring Kenya Eugene and special guests Desiree and Revolution is coming up this Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. at Marriott Frenchman's Reef. Now, if you saw the first concert, you know it was a hit. And this year, nothing less is expected.
And at Kidscope, which is a child advocacy center, we have developed a method, a forensic interviews that we do. We collaborate with the police, the FBI, social workers, and in putting this team together, we have gotten great success. And the most important thing from my perspective is agencies are collaborating, working together for the betterment of our children and also our families.
it's definitely 100% of the proceeds going to Kids Cope, and we're happy to be able to help with that. As my thing is, charity begins at home. So if I can help Haiti or Dominica or Africa or anybody else, if I can give them my money, I need to start here first. We got such a great response from people in the community and people who attended the show that we decided to make it an annual thing, because it was just like a spontaneous thing, like let's just do one concert, and we, you know, but it turned into let's make it an annual thing.
Now, the benefit concert, again, is a fundraiser for Kidscope, and you can call Kidscope at 714-1012, and there will be free shuttle service from Havenside to and from the Marriott starting at 6:30. Afternoon on the Green is coming up this weekend, as we mentioned early in the week. And if you have always wanted to try your hand at some cooking, there are many different categories. Everyone gets a taste. It's for a worthy cause. It's the biggest fundraiser, one of the biggest fundraisers held at UVI's Herman E. Moore Golf Course. It includes a little bit of everything for everyone. There's fun and events for the children, music, food, and fun. And here's more from Liza Margolis.
We offer prizes for people who make dishes because we know that is our bread and butter. That is our main thing at the event is the food. So you'll get a t-shirt. Whoever cooks will get a t-shirt. We have first, second, and third place prizes in each category. We have 8 categories. We have 2 different types of judging. We have text judging. We have paper ballot judging. AT&T this year, we're very excited, is sponsoring the text judging, and for the person who gets the top text votes, you'll get a Galaxy tablet. For the person who gets the top overall votes for paper and texting, you'll get 4 round-trip tickets to Puerto Rico, compliments of Seabourn. And the second place person of top overall votes will get the trip for 2 to St. Croix, compliments of the Buzz. So it could be cakes, it could be chicken, it could be macaroni and cheese, and it's an international theme, so we want people to get creative with it.
Be sure to check it out. Meanwhile, the University of the Virgin Islands will be commemorating the 54th anniversary of its charter on March 18th. It will also be the first of 12 days in which UVI Pride is celebrated. Charter Day will commence bright and early 6 a.m. with the 15th annual Queen Mary 5K walk run on the Sunshine Mall of the Albert A. Sheen campus, an official Charter Day program featuring keynote speaker Johnny C. Taylor. The president and CEO of the Thurgood Marshall College Fund will take place at 10 a.m. in the Administration and Conference Center on the St. Thomas campus. Department of Sports, Park, and Recreation will host Community Children's Fun Day this Saturday in the State Prophet, or Machuchal community, on Saturday, March 19th, rather, to continue the trend of Community Children's Fun Day at the Pedro Cruz Ballpark. Now, the department invites the parents of Estates Prophet and its surrounding communities to come out and bring their children, receive informative material on the childhood program sponsored by the governor's office. The fun day will start from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Also in St. Thomas, the department will be hosting the inter-neighborhood basketball tournament at the Anna's Retreat Basketball Court starting at 2 p.m. on April 9th, 2016. The 47th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held on St. Croix in downtown Christiansted this weekend. The theme this year is Luck of the Irie. The parade will make its way through the streets of Christiansted on St. Patrick's Day. Celebrations date back as far as 1737 in the United States, when Boston held its first parade. The day is celebrated with green bear, green clothing, and corned beef and cabbage. However, in Ireland, the day is primarily a religious holiday. Now, there will be music, food, floats, and plenty of green-clad people celebrating in the street. Many bars will be celebrating on Thursday night as well. The Department of Planning and Natural Resources is reminding campers that permits are required to camp on the Columbus Landing site at Salt River Bay National Historic Park and Ecological Preserve during the Easter holiday coming up. Permits will be issued for camping from Thursday, March 17th through Monday, March 21st. Now, guidelines and permits are available at the DPNR's Division of Environmental Enforcement at Anna's Hope. You can call 340-773-5774. And for more information about Salt River camping, you can call the State Historic Preservation Office at 340-719-7089. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.